and then knock me into the... Oh, for fuck's sake. Welcome back everybody, MC here with another video, and today we are doing our next episode of our Terraria playthrough. It is a Terraria Expert World playthrough, and it's a casual playthrough, so we can do whatever we like, with whatever weapons we like, to defeat Moon Lord, which is our ultimate goal. In the last episode, we managed to take down the Eye of Cthulhu, and we fought Eater of the Worlds, technically died on purpose, and that will hopefully spawn a meteor at some point in one of the next nights. It's a little trick that you can do. If you haven't checked out the other videos to see that trick, or just to know where we are in general, make sure you check them out, as this is a continuation series. So right now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be trying to get to the fishing spots and do a bit of fishing for key items. We're still in the early game, and of course I decided to try and do this traverse in the middle of the night while it's snowing, but I feel like the reason why I did that is because it's raining at the moment, and rain is very important for when you're fishing. Fishing in Terraria is one of my favorite things to do because it definitely is the most relaxing thing that you can do in Terraria, and it really breaks up the game as well, because when you're playing a playthrough of Terraria, if you're trying to constantly be improving your character or your weapons, then you're going to be put under a lot of pressure to constantly be fighting and to be always searching for stuff. But if you go for the fishing quests, or if you try and do a bit of fishing in the early games, it just gives you a break from all that. So one of the worst things about fishing in Terraria is getting there, because as you can see, I've already spent this entire time trying to get to the fishing spot, and you have to pass so many different enemies and different biomes. It can be a pain in the ass trying to traverse the world early game, but it gets a lot easier once you can either fly or once you can boost across the map a lot faster. One of the things I like to do late game is I like to build a sky bridge which goes all the way across the map, and that sky bridge lets you to travel without having to go through the normal terrain of the world and without having to jump over different biomes. So we have finally reached our destination, and that is the biome where we are actually going to be able to do some fishing. And I have the boardwalk set up as of the last episode. Now we're just going to clear out the area a little bit first and get started with some fishing. As I said, when it's raining and when it's nighttime is the best time to fish. You get a higher fish percentage. So it looks like we have around 10 bait to work with, and hopefully we just gonna get this lit up a little bit so it's easier to see, because obviously one of the worst things about Terraria, especially when you're recording, is trying to make sure people can see everything that you're doing. So now we're going to start fishing, and as I mentioned a few times, fishing is the most relaxing thing you can do in Terraria. So I decided I was going to talk about the 1.4 update with you guys while we do some fishing and while we relax. So who's excited for 1.4 in the comment section? I personally am, because I've been around in Terraria for a long time. I started the game during 1.2, and then 1.3 came out in, I think it was June 2015, and then I played the shit out of Terraria in 2015, and then I have done one or two playthroughs since then in 1.3 with all the small updates that have come out. As we can see here, a meteor has finally landed. That means I will be able to get my meteor gear at some point as well and upgrade my character. So 1.4 was due to come out last year, and I'm recording this in 2020, so it was supposed to come out in 2019. It was delayed multiple times, which usually happens with Terraria updates, as they have a skeleton crew over there, but they're also trying to put a lot of effort in at the same time. So it's not a AAA game by any means, and they don't usually charge for these updates. It's more of a passion project, I feel, for Relogic. Anyway, we have 1.4 due out this year. I feel like if 1.4 comes out this year, it'll come out in June, just before summer holidays. Now, a lot of the time, they get delayed until the end of the year. The reason why I think it'll come out in June is because in the history of Terraria, I've noticed that most updates come out in May or June. And it just seems like they always have that exact month of timing for all of these updates. And then throughout the entire summer, we all get to play Terraria when schools are out or when university is out. And it just makes it a lot easier. Obviously, this year it's a bit different because schools are out early and the schools might be back in again during the summer, but hopefully not. So, I believe in 1.4 they're going to release a lot of different features that I'm interested in. However, my biggest one is Master Mode. Having a new mode that is above Expert is scary. How the hell can you get more difficult than Expert without making it too difficult, if you get me? And they said already they're not going to release any specific items in Master Mode that make it easier. So you're going to have to use everything that you used for Expert Mode, all the items that you had at your disposal, but you're going to have to use them in Master Mode. You're not going to get any extra accessory slots, and you're not going to get any extra weapons, which is a scary thought, especially since Expert was so difficult, especially at the very beginning when we all started Expert Mode. It was almost impossible. I can imagine when streamers are playing or YouTubers are playing Master Mode for the first time, they're going to be saying, oh my god, this is so difficult. What the hell did you do? I can't do this. And then 2 years later, all the strategies will be coming out and we'll find it super easy. I just hope that there's multiple ways to defeat bosses in Master Mode. That is the biggest one for me. Because I feel like in Expert Mode, you can do all of the bosses with good setup, good arenas, and just clever fighting. But I feel like sometimes in Expert Mode, I feel like they're trying to get you to use like hoiking and minecarts and all that kind of thing to make it easier for you to defeat bosses. I personally hope that doesn't happen in 1.4. I don't want to have to make a railway, which is all automatic, just to defeat Skeletron, for example. I know it's done by a lot of people, but I just personally don't like that kind of thing. I prefer to fight the boss rather than constantly be running away from it. Now, it's really clever and it's really cool, and if I have to do it, I suppose I'll have to find out how to do it. But I don't want to have to use minecarts and pretty much tracks to go around Skeletron over and over again. But what do you guys think? Do you think that Master Mode is going to be very difficult? Or do you think it's going to be not as difficult as we all anticipate it to be? Although, knowing Relogic, it's going to be twice as difficult as we all think it's going to be. So we're currently just fishing away. All of the zombies can't get in because of the boardwalk I've made. We're just chilling, doing some fishing. Hopefully we can get some crates for late game. I don't know if you guys know about late game crates, but pretty much what you do is you fish for crates in early game when everything's easier to get because there's less mobs around that can actually get into your boardwalk or your fishing area in general. And then you get the crates, you put them aside, and then as soon as hard mode hits, come over and open up all the crates. And when you do that, you could get loads of late game ore and you can get late game items just from those crates, only by waiting until you get into hard mode before you open them. It's fun too. Looks like we're about to get into the morning time here. Looks like it's brightening up a little bit, and we still haven't gotten anything major from this fishing quest. We're not actually looking for the fishing quest itself, because I don't even think we have the fisherman housed yet. But as you can see, we just got frog's legs, which are very useful, especially against Skeletron. Skeletron allow you to do, or not Skeletron, frog legs allow you to do a full jump with one press of spacebar. And that is huge because with other weapons or with other accessories that allow you to jump better, you have to either double press or you have to hold down spacebar. With the frog's legs, it's just a full jump with one tap of spacebar. It's very good to get from platform to platform without using a hook against Skeletron. So we're getting really lucky actually. And we, as you can see, we have the quest fish as well, which I don't really have that much need for. As I said, I don't think we have the fisherman housed. I think we found him and he's just chilling somewhere. I don't think I'm going to find him soon enough or house him soon enough, unless it keeps raining, of course, which I might be able to use to my advantage. But in general, and we got the Reaver Shark. Okay, that's interesting. The Reaver Shark is the most impressive item in the game, early game. It's cool how you collect it, of course. You have to fish for it in the ocean. And the Reaver Shark is something that a lot of people miss out on when they play Terraria. The Reaver Shark is able to mine pretty much all blocks in the early game and the first couple of blocks in the hard mode, which makes it very versatile. Now, probably the most versatile pickaxe in the game, because almost every pickaxe in the game can only mine the next best ore blocks, right? So the Reaver Shark is able to mine pretty much 3 or 4 different blocks that no other pickaxe early game can, except for the molten pickaxe. By the time you have the molten pickaxe, you're already gone down to hell and you're almost ready to fight the wall of flesh. Whereas the Reaver Shark can be got before you even start digging down to hell, which makes it crazy important in the Terraria playthrough. I'll probably have a video already up for this, but it's pretty much how to get the Reaver Shark. So if you want to find out how to get that, what preparation that I did to get the Reaver Shark, make sure you check out the video. And of course, how to get the Reaver Shark isn't just a case of going and fishing for 5 minutes. It normally takes like 30 minutes. Sometimes it takes 2 hours to get. I have gone longer than that, but it's just the way the Reaver Shark works. It's such a rare item. I got very lucky. To be honest, I have been so lucky in this playthrough. I have a Meteor after dropping. I have the Reaver Shark. I had early items completely. I think this is the fastest I've ever fought the Eye of Cthulhu and Eater of the Worlds in a playthrough, only because I like to take my time, and in this playthrough I just got everything that I needed, except for the snowball cannon, but that's fine, I don't need it anymore. And it's just crazy how fast this playthrough has been. I wish all my playthroughs were like that. It's almost as if the game knows that I'm making a series on it. So it's like, hey, we want to speed you up a tiny bit. And I know I'm about to jinx this right now, but I wonder how quick I'm going to get the Ankh Shield if I go for it. Come on now, Terraria, give me the Ankh Shield. So we're just moving over towards the Meteor. I don't exactly know where it is. Like, I know now because I just spotted it, but I was just looking from side to side to see where the Meteor was, and it wasn't on the right side. So here it is. This is a very awkward spot, and it's a good thing we have the Reaver Shark actually for this particular moment. Anyway, what I like to do to mine the Meteor is I like to drop dynamite on it, and once I have blown a big hole across the Meteor, I like to go down and collect all the Meteor that came out. It's the safest way to do it. I don't mind dying a couple times when it comes to Meteor farming, simply because the blocks are so dangerous and the enemies are so annoying around Meteor. And I suppose at the end of the day, if I was playing a hardcore mode or a hardcore playthrough, I'd have to be a bit more careful. But when it comes to the Meteor Armor and the Meteor Gun and stuff like that, it's worth dying a couple of times. I already put all my money away. But these fucking Meteor things, pardon my French, are so annoying. They're the worst enemies in the game, in my opinion. Okay, maybe not the worst, but they're the worst early game enemies. Because they fly through blocks, you can't hit them very easily. And then they fucking home in on you. And then they set you on bloody fire. And as far as I remember, they knock you back too, so they can knock me off of my my rope and then knock me into the... Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, let's try this again. Now, just so you guys know, that was intentional. That was intentional. Alright? And the reason why it was intentional is because if you blow yourself up with dynamite in this game, you don't lose any gold. So if you're ever in a situation where you're about to die to mobs and you're about to lose all your gold, throw a stick of dynamite in it and stay near it and you won't lose any gold. Just respawns you. Don't do it in a hardcore playthrough, of course. But yeah, that was intentional. So anyway, as you get back to the farm, as you can see, we have plenty of armor now, or plenty of meteor, and it's time to go create some meteor armor, which is going to carry us through probably the entirety of the early mode, or the early game. And that's the crazy thing about meteor armor. If you're doing a casual playthrough, you can use the meteor armor with the meteor weapon, and or we call it the pew pew gun, and that's pretty much it. You're done for the entire game. Like I can literally take out every boss in the early mode: Skeletron, Eater of the Worlds, Wall of Flesh. I have the armor for it now. I have the pew pew gun for it, so I could do the damage. Literally the best or the fastest playthrough we've ever done in this game. Anyway, thank you very much for hanging out with us today. I'll see you again in a couple of weeks for our next episode of our playthrough. They're going to be a little bit sporadic at the moment, only because I'm doing extra streams on Twitch. Make sure you check us out over there if you want to watch some other games, plus Terraria soon. But in general, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Ta-ta!